Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and all the distinguished members in the audience this evening, as well as those who are listening on the airwaves. Good evening and welcome. Once again, it gives me great pleasure to be here to take part in the Indian Day arrival celebrations. And as I was coming here this evening, I was thinking, what can I say to you tonight that is different from what was said last year, or that is different from what has been said everywhere and anywhere for the past few weeks and days. I have no intention of coming here to cuss the government for not giving you enough money for your celebrations, or in the case of Chaguanas West, for not giving you any money at all. Because in any event, that is what we have come to expect. And therefore, will we curse the government year after year for not giving us any money for Indian Day celebrations? So therefore, I have no intention of cursing the government for that. Nor do I have any intention of being critical of those who have failed to give these celebrations the kind of respect they deserve. I feel tonight that I must take a different slant, that what I say tonight must have a different meaning. And tonight, therefore, I want to begin by saying that we must make sure that Indian Arrival Day celebrations are not only celebrations for the month of May, are not only celebrations which impact and impinge on the date May 31st, but these celebrations must be celebrations which in some way help to change and chart your life throughout the year. And therefore, in a real sense, there must be a legacy, there must be in some way certain benefits that can accrue to you throughout the year from the struggle which Indians faced over the years from 1845 to 2009. My dear colleagues and friends, it is in this context, therefore, that I believe that one of the best things that I can do is to approach several businessmen in Chaguanas West in particular to join with me and to put our shoulders to the wheel and to find the resources to build a museum that can depict Indian civilization in this country for the last 164 years. We have to find the means whereby you can go and look at the history of what the Indians have done and how this country has benefited from their coming here. We have to trace the history of the Indians who have come here and trace their history in several different ways, in sport, in music, in culture, in education. My dear friends, it is only fitting that we have a museum of Indian culture that traces the history and the contribution of the Indians in sport, for example, from Sonny Ramadin to Inshan Ali. That trace the Indian contribution in this country since they have come here in the field of education as epitomized by the late Dr. Rudra Kapildev. And let me make this point to you quickly, that far too often, you have been told and you have been given the impression as if this country only has one father of the nation. As far as I'm concerned, this country has two fathers of the nation, Eric Williams and Rudranath Kapildev. Because if Rudranath Kapildev did not agree to go to London to Marlborough House, with Williams and to come to some agreement with the British government, our independence would never have been achieved as peacefully as it was. And for that, therefore, we must be eternally grateful. So therefore, our museum must tell us something about Indian education, must tell us something about sport, must tell us something about Indian music, how it has evolved to the chutney that we know today, must tell us something about Indian trade unionism, and therefore our intellectuals must write books and history from Bade Sagan Maharaj to Basdev Pandey. We must be able to do all these things and not only look at the month of May and say that that of course represents the contribution of the Indians to this country. My dear friends, the point I want to make to you, that this will be a difficult task. This will be a difficult task. In some ways it would be even time consuming. But then I know that difficult tasks are never too difficult for the Indians who are bent on achievement. In fact, in the history of this constituency, Chaguanas West, we have a history of survival, a history of success. We know about struggle, we know about success and failure, and you rise and fall and rise again. I recall that for over 50 years, the people of Ramratan Trace, just off Uriah Butler Highway, have not had the means to collect garbage. And they came to me and I said, okay, I will build for you a place where you can put your garbage and you can have your garbage collected 3-4 times per week. So I built a place off the highway and I put a dump there, a tremendous cost, but it gave the community a sense of pride that they were able now to live not among the flies, but they were able to live as decent human beings. 1 month after I built it, 1 month after I built it, I got a letter from the government telling me to break it down because it is a hazard, a danger hazard on the highway. I said, put it in writing. So they put it in writing, and I will take that letter and print it and give it to every home, every community, every person in Ramratan Trace to understand how difficult it is, to survive in this day and age. It won't be easy, my friends. It won't be easy. Just 2 weeks ago,